Hello dearest friends, welcome back to my channel, Diana and the Book Hunt, and welcome to another reading vlog. This is going to be a bit of a messy one because I got sick this month and I kind of put off doing updates because I would tend to lose my voice when I was speaking too much. So I read 3 books for this reading vlog and I did film some clips of places we went to, not that we went anywhere special, but we just had some little outings and we had a moment where I was cooking some stuff. So I'm just going to show you a bit of the things that I've been doing while I was reading these books. And then I'm going to be updating you in these little snippets of me telling you about these books right now because I've already finished the books. So yeah, this is going to be a bit of a different one, but we'll just do with it whatever we can here. And I'm going to be doing a vlog where I'm talking about books that I've chosen specifically in February to commemorate Black History Month. And I really tried to select 3 very different kinds of books, one of them being a romance, one of them being a historical romance, and one of them being a mystery thriller, one that was really long on my TBR and that I definitely wanted to finish soon, so there was no better time than now to finish that one. So I'm just going to go ahead and update you as we go. The first book that I picked up was Ace of Spades. This book was the one that I had on my TBR for such a long time. I had heard so many good things about this book. It's a mystery thriller. It's marketed as a dark academia book that is kind of a mix between Gossip Girl and Get Out. And it was a very interesting read. I'm just going to show you some clips before I tell you my opinion about this one. And then we're going to move on to the other 2 books that I read. The romance that I picked up is by Danielle Allen, and the historical romance is by Beverly Jenkins. And I can't wait to update you on my thoughts about those ones as well. So let's just dive in. You'll see me for a little bit, and then I'm going to be back with this beautiful setting here. Hello my dears. So while I'm listening to my audiobook for today, Ace of Spades, I'm going to update you later on in another clip about it. I am going to make one of my favorite desserts, probably one of my favorite things to eat, period. So I'm going to show you what I'm making today. I don't make it very often because, to be honest, I kind of keep it for like special occasions or when I have someone over. And tonight we're going to have some of our close friends over for dinner. So I'm going to make this really amazing dessert for them. And I'm going to show you a couple of the things I'm using for this. I'm using a mix of different nuts. So we have peanuts, we've got cashews, we've got hazelnuts, and we also need some peanut butter. I also am going to use some agave. I'm going to use some maca. This is just amazing. And I'm going to use some really high quality chocolate for the dessert. I'm going to need some coconut oil and I'm going to need some fresh fruits. So obviously strawberries are not fresh, but they're coming from Greece and I tried them and they're really good. So I'm really happy that they had them. I typically like to put raspberries in this dessert, but we didn't have any raspberries. I actually sent my partner to a close by shop to just check, just in case they have some raspberries, because I really want to put some raspberries in them, but we're gonna wait out and see. I'm going to start on the process. I'm going to show you some of the things that I'm making and I hope you like this one. So we're almost done. I'm going to show you how I'm making them real quick, and then I'm going to pop them in the freezer for a couple of hours so that they can chill. And we've got our nuts and peanut butter and agave here and maca. And then you make bowls that are about 30 grams or so each. And then you press them into the form So what we do here is we try to get it evened out so that it looks like the best shape when we take it out. I've put in these papers so that I can easily take them out when they've frozen in the freezer. And then once I've done this, I'm going to pour in the chocolate, and then I'm going to top it off with a couple of berries. By the way, my partner is amazing. He went on to the store quite far away to get me these raspberries. So I'm going to put in raspberries, blueberries, and strawberries on top. I'm going to show you the end result when I'm finished.
So honestly, this vlog is going to be one hot mess because I got sick and I don't want to postpone it because I'm already about 70% into Ace of Spades, and I just want to finish that book and share my thoughts about it. Before I do that, I'm going to do that at home because it's quite windy today, so I don't want you to miss out on what I'm going to say about it. I just wanted to tell you what I've been doing because I went to the doctors to get a sick leave note for my job, and it's been quite a pleasant, warm winter day, so I decided to do something that I probably shouldn't have. I went walking to the doctor's office because I thought that some fresh air will do me some good while I'm sick, but honestly, it drained all of my energy. So I'm sitting at this bench contemplating how to get home. I'm gonna get up soon and just go maybe have something to drink. There is this coffee shop I'm seeing over there, so I'm gonna drink some tea or something and gather all my strength to go home. And I'm gonna see what kind of food I can get delivered at home because I'm definitely not cooking today. And I'm gonna update you when I get home on my progress with the book because it's really interesting. It's really kind of harrowing. I don't know the right word for what I'm feeling right now. It's very heavy and it's very tough to get through, but it's very brilliantly written. So I'm very, very much looking forward to sharing more thoughts about it. So fingers crossed that I can get home as soon as possible so I can just be a couch potato for 2 or 3 days while I get better. And I'll see you in the next one.
So I still sound like crap. And I'm still really sick, and this vlog is going to take forever to film because I don't have the possibility to do updates. So it's kind of going to be like wrap up of each book that I'm reading for this vlog because I just cannot do updates. So I actually finished 2 books already. I finished Ace of Spades, which is a young adult dark academia mystery thriller. And then I also finished Truth or Dare by Danielle Allen. This is a friends to lovers romance that involves a destination wedding. So I just finished that last night and I really liked it. And I'm going to check which book I'm going to pick up because I'm going to do a third one for this vlog, for this wrap-up vlog that I'm doing. But in the meantime, just before the last of the desserts that I made is finished, because we finished all of them, I wanted to show you. This is what it looks like. So I'm not sure whether I can just show it to you like that. This is what it looks like. Taste wise, it's probably one of the tastiest things that I've tasted in my life. It very much resembles the healthiest version of a Snickers, but it's even better than a sneakers. And it's the last one that I'm going to enjoy because I deserve it. Now that I'm sick, I haven't really been able to enjoy any kind of food because I don't feel the taste of the food. Today has been the first day where I can stomach down food and really notice what I'm eating. So I'm going to eat this little cupcake here in a second. And I'm going to update you when I have a bit more strength with my voice, because I'm noticing if I talk too much right now, all of the progress for me that I've built up this week from not talking is going to just plummet. So I'm going to update you on those two books in another clip, and then I'm going to let you know which book I'm going to pick up additionally for this vlog. And in the meantime, just keep your fingers crossed for me that this is going to be over soon, because I've been feeling like crap for the past couple of days, and it's been breaking my heart that I need to stay away from my partner and my child. And my child, he's almost 5, but he is very cuddly, and he loves to just give me hugs, and to, when he sees that I'm not feeling well, he just wants to make me feel better by giving me a hug. And I don't want to get him sick, so the whole time it's breaking my heart saying to him, you need to stay away from me. And at the same time, he's looking with this very cute and very heartbroken face, because he's like, but mommy, I love you and I want to hug you because you're sick and you need to feel better. And it's breaking my heart. So I really hope that this is going to be over soon, so I can just hug both my men at home. And yeah, it feels like it's gonna take forever. Anyway, I don't want to dwell on negative stuff, so I'm going to see you in the next one.
So my thoughts on Ace of Spades here. It's such an interesting read, this one. I have to say that I was feeling daunted and kind of really unsettled when I was reading this book almost all of the time. And I think that that's a good thing, because it really deals with very uncomfortable topics, with cyberbullying, especially if you have children and you're thinking like, how am I going to put my kids through school with so many different like variables of torture for kids nowadays through social media. But regardless of that, we've got our hero and heroine. They're these, I think they're seniors in high school. His name is Devon, her name is Chiamaka, and Devon is actually gay, but he is not out. He has this relationship with this guy who is no longer attending the school. He is mixed up, so the other guy he's mixed up with dealing drugs, and Devon has a lot of feelings for this guy, but it's very much a secret. He's portrayed as being poor, so he's in this prep school simply because he was offered a scholarship, and he definitely wants to make the best of it because he knows his mother is doing all that she can to put him through school. So he's really doing his best to be a model student, and he is very interested in being a musician. He is in this band class or something like that, and yeah, he basically just wants to get through school that last year. But unfortunately, the main kind of omniscient hero within hero or heroine, we don't know at the beginning of the book, within this story, is making it very difficult for him to do just that. Now, the heroine is Chiamaka. She's very much a very ambitious young lady. She is kind of like at the head of this kind of like president of their activities at school, and she has always been that. So everyone knows her as very ambitious, kind of like the queen bee of the school. And she basically falls into the same category as Devon when it comes to this omniscient person or persons who are trying to take them down. So essentially, this book is marketed as kind of a mix between Gossip Girl and Get Out. It's a mystery thriller, almost like a horror kind of story. It's also marketed as dark academia. I'm not sure about the dark academia part. Obviously, this is a dark book, but just because it's set in high school, I don't think that it's dark academia per se, but let's say that it's a dark academia book because it deals with a lot of dark topics throughout the book. We've got this Gossip Girl thing going on within this book where A lot of text blasts are sent throughout the school about the secrets that these two characters are holding. Now, Devon obviously he's a very easy target because they very quickly find out that he is gay, that he has been keeping this a secret, and that he's been dealing with someone who is involved with drugs. And then Chiamaka, her story is very interesting. So she basically has this best friend who is white. By the way, both of the hero and heroine are black, if it's not obvious through the cover. But so she has this best friend who is white. She thinks that she's in love with him, so she has been pursuing him, but at the same time, he does not really show any romantic interest in her, and he actually likes another girl, and he starts a relationship with that other girl. So she is very kind of upset that he doesn't get that she has feelings for him, and that Chiamaka is the person he's supposed to be with, in her opinion. So she goes out with him one night and something very horrible happens, and that something horrible they're keeping a secret between the two of them. But the gossip girl kind of entity, by the way, in the book it's called Ace, that's why it's Ace of Spades. So Ace basically sends out a blast that she's keeping a lot of secrets, and yeah, basically they're being targeted by Ace, and they're trying to find out who it is, who has the motive to take them down, what is going on, etc., etc. So this is a very interesting story, and it's very kind of, like I mentioned, I think in the other clip, very harrowing. Like, you feel for these characters because it's just something very horrible that is happening to them. Someone being so close to your personal space, knowing every secret that you own, and then blasting it for everyone to know, and ruining all of your chances for all the future plans that you had. That is just horrible. And also the reasoning behind it in the end is just so horrible that you're kind of left feeling unsettled throughout the whole book. But at the same time, I really appreciate that the ending was so interesting, so almost out of left field. I wouldn't have said that it would have ended that way. I kind of had my suspicions about certain things that of how it ended, but at the same time, something surprised me, which is very good. I gave this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, even though it was like a very difficult experience to get through it. I enjoyed the topic of it and the way that it was handled, the way that it was written. I liked that there was queer representation within the book for both of the characters, and how eventually, because at the start of the book they weren't friends, they were like the only 2 black kids at school, but they weren't friends. And I like how they kind of, out of necessity, needed to work together to get through both of their predicaments. So I really like how this ended in the end, how the resolution in the end and the epilogue in the end really made sense. I really like that within this book, so I gave it 4 stars. So this was definitely a very interesting experience. I do have to say that I was very unsettled when I finished it, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I reading after this? Because I definitely needed something lighter after this, because it was a bit of a daunting experience. But yeah, sometimes you need to read such books to kind of get out of your comfort zone, and I really like that I picked this up. So I'm definitely happy that I have the physical copy of this, so I can think about it whenever I think about it. So yeah, now it's time to talk about the next read. And the next read is Truth or Dare by Danielle Allen. I decided to pick this up because it's a romance that I've been wanting to read for such a long time, and I knew that Jess from Peace Love Books absolutely loves this book. I've seen her recommended on her channel multiple times, so I really wanted to pick this up, and I had it available through Kindle Unlimited, so I decided to pick it up for this vlog. Now, when I started to read it, I was definitely getting Only for the Weak vibes, the book by Natasha Bishop that I read a couple of months ago. It was very similar in vibe, but definitely different when it comes to the tropes within the book. This one is a definite friends to lovers situation, because we've got our hero and heroine. Her name is Simone, his name is Kingston. They're part of this very large friends group that was formed at their college, I think. And when they were in college, Simone was with one of the other guys from the friend group. Kingston was single. Basically, within their friend group, they did kind of have this rule of let's try not to date each other too much so that the friend group doesn't fall apart. But there were exceptions to the rule. So Simone was with one of the guys, I think his name was Omar. And then another couple was formed, and that couple is actually going to get married within the book. So they're going to attend their destination wedding. Now, Simone and Kingston have never been together. They've always been the best of friends, and they never saw each other romantically. And the interesting thing is that they haven't seen each other for quite a while because everyone lives in a different place nowadays, that they've graduated a long time ago. And they go on this destination wedding. They haven't seen each other for a long time, and Simone definitely sees that Kingston has changed. He looks a bit different from what she remembers, and she's definitely attracted to him. Kingston is also very attracted to Simone when he sees her, but they don't mention anything at the start of the book. They have this situation where they're going on this yacht. The bride, by the way, within the story is kind of very organized. She has these activities planned for everyone, very much like Only for the Week, if I have to be honest. But they have these activities planned, and one of the activities already, I think, on the first night is that they go on this yacht and they have this white party where everyone is dressed in white and they drink and dance and gorgeous. Like, the atmosphere is great. And the thing is that they get kind of drunk and they decide to play truth or dare. And one of the dares is for, I think, Simone to give him a lap dance and then Kingston to give her a kiss. And they definitely hit it off. They have this insane chemistry together. So they definitely feel the attraction from the first night on. But the interesting part within the book starts when the bride, she has her sister attend the wedding. Her sister is recently divorced. So she's like, I want to set up my sister with Kingston. So Simone, do you have feelings or any kind of attraction towards Kingston? Because I want to set them up. And Simone said, no, I don't have anything going on with Kingston because it was just the first night and the first day. And she was like, it was just a fluke or something like that. So she told the bride that she can go ahead and set Kingston up with someone else. So that is the conflict within the book, and we do see that Kingston and Simone gravitate towards each other the whole time because they have this insane attraction together, and at the same time they've been best friends for like years, so they definitely get along and hit it off and can laugh with each other and can just goof around with each other. So it's definitely a situation where you feel already from the start that they're meant to be together. So this is the part within the story that I absolutely loved. I had so much fun with this book, even though it reminded me a lot. It reminded me a lot of Only for the Week by Natasha Bishop. I still had plenty of fun with it. Definitely the difference is that this one is a friends to lovers story, while in the other book there was some animosity between the hero and heroine at the start of the book, while with this one they just love each other already from the start because they're friends already. So there were differences, but it reminded me in a good way, let's say, because of the wedding activities and because of the overall attraction between the characters. And the spice within this book was just great. It was really, really good. So I had so much fun with this one, and I gave it 4 stars, by the way. So it was a true romance that got me feeling all the romantic feels within the book. So I was so happy that I picked it up. And I definitely am going to read more by Danielle Allen. So in the next clip, you're going to see me book shopping because I wanted to buy The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, but unfortunately I didn't find it in that bookstore. But I'm going to take you with me regardless. And then I also went to this cake shop with my son to pick out the cake because we had this agreement with him that he is not going to complain about going to kindergarten for a week because this is the thing with us at the moment. He complains every day that it's too boring and that he has more fun at home and etc, etc. So I had this epiphany, like every parent does, that I'm going to bargain with him. So I told him, we're going to get cake at your favorite shop on Saturday if you're going to just not complain about going to kindergarten every day. And he managed it. So we went to this cake shop to get some cake. So you're going to see us eating some good cake. And then I'm going to be back to update you about the last book that I picked up for this vlog, which is Indigo by Beverly Jenkins. So if you followed me on my channel for a longer time, you know that I don't typically gravitate towards historical romances. I haven't read very many of those, but I decided that I want to kind of diversify my reading. And also for this reading vlog, I really wanted to pick up 3 very different books by Black authors. So I decided to pick up a very kind of popular, original, and like a book that everyone essentially has read but me. So I decided to pick up Indigo by Beverly Jenkins. This book was written in the 90s, so it's been popular for a very, very long time. And I decided to pick it up because I had it available through Storytel on audio, and I knew that I was going to love this book because it was narrated also in a way. I didn't know that before I started to read it, but when I started to read it, I really appreciated the accents that were used within this story. I really liked that. So I really enjoyed the audiobook for it, by the way. If you're going to pick this up, by any chance, if you haven't read it, because I think I'm the only one who hasn't read it yet, but anyway, yeah, I really enjoyed the audiobook for it. And you know what it was also? Halfway throughout the audiobook, it said something like, end of CD 1 will continue in CD 2, and that's like how old this book is. You already see that the audiobook was produced way back. Anyway, this is just a little tidbit that I really wanted to share that I found very funny. But yeah, basically this book, it centers on our heroine Hester, who has been a slave when she was very young, but she is now no longer a slave, and she's actually helping free slaves through this organization that is kind of called the Underground Railroad. And one day at the start of the book, we find out that there is this guy who is brought into her to take care of him. And he's called the Black Daniel. He's also someone who is helping slaves to get freed. And he has been very seriously injured. So she's taking care of him at the start of the book. So there's perfect caretaking within this book that I absolutely loved. And he spends a long time in her kind of hidden room in her house where she takes care of him. And she has indigo hands, so her hands are permanently colored indigo because of what kind of work she used to do when she was a slave. So he calls her Indigo. And his name, even though they call him the Black Daniel, his name is Galen, and he actually is quite well off. He's very wealthy. I think he even has a title. And he's interested in Hester already from the start when he starts to converse with her. So when he is healed, he goes back to where he's from, but he definitely is planning on coming back for Hester and winning her over. She's definitely very reluctant, a reluctant heroine. She does develop feelings for him quite fast, but at the same time, she definitely recognizes that there is a very big class difference between them and that a relationship between them is probably not going to be accepted in society. So she's very reluctant to start a relationship with him. but he is just worshiping the ground that she walks on. He is giving her all kinds of gifts. He's trying to win her over in every single way that he can think of. And the interesting part is that actually at the start of the book, Hester is engaged to be married to someone, but as kind of like a marriage of convenience situation, because she doesn't see that a prospect who, like, to marry out of love is something that is going to benefit her. So she was supposed to get married to the guy who was supposed to be the teacher at the town that they live in. But one day she finds out that he actually fell in love with someone himself and he got married with this lady. And it's an interesting thing that at the start of the book, the Black Daniel, so Galen, he was like, oh, you were engaged. Well, that's not going to last long. He already knew that he was going to win her over and that she's going to just not continue with her plan to marry this other guy. And there's just so many situations that were so swoon worthy within the story. It was such a pleasant read. I absolutely loved this book in many respects. It was very romantic, and especially because the hero is a worshipping hero and he really does everything that you can imagine to win her over. But at the same time, it was a bit too long, and there were certain situations that definitely could have been avoided. But obviously this book was written quite a while ago, so maybe also the readership was a different kind of readership at the time, so I can imagine that a lot of things may have been done differently by the author if she had written it in a contemporary set, so in like right now. And I cannot say that I can fault her for making these decisions to write the book. For me, it was definitely a 4-star read, a very strong 4-star read. I absolutely loved the relationship between the hero and heroine, and I just rooted for them until the end. And I definitely know that this is one of the couples that is going to remain together forever and ever, if you get what I mean. Definite soulmates here. So I really enjoyed this one, and I definitely urge you to pick it up if you haven't by any chance, but I think everyone has read this one but me. So when it comes to historical romances, this was definitely a great one. So I have to say that this vlog turned out to be a very big hit for me, because all of the books that I read for this vlog were 4-star reads for me. So I'm very happy that I picked up these books to commemorate Black History Month. And please let me know which books you picked up in February for Black History Month. Which authors should I be on the lookout for? Which books should I add to my TBR? And I'm sorry if this was a bit of a messy one, but I definitely didn't expect this one to go as it did. But still, I'm happy that I get to put it out for you to see. And I hope to see you very soon in the next one. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Happy reading. Take care, and bye-bye.